Hey guys, it's Jason here from the Omni Sales team, and in today's video, we're exploring one of the most important concepts that you need to understand when you sell new homes to people that are buying into estates. Like, this doesn't apply for many acreage estates, it doesn't apply for people buying raw blocks of land, but everyone who's buying in an estate is probably going to have one of these, and they're called covenants. One of the most important things to understand is what is a covenants and why are they there, and how can we utilize them to help sell or to help the client give the courage to help the client buy. So many people think of covenants as something bad, but guys, covenants is amazing. They're an awesome piece of information that allows the client to build a better home or to be able to sustain their investments, or it gives them the ability, it gives you the ability to be able to provide a better home in general. So, in this video, we're going to break that down. Number one, what is a covenant? A covenant is simple, guys. Every developer that comes into an estate or makes an estate, they want to sell their land for premium. Now, the way they can sell their land for premium is that they must make it so that your investment is going to be safe. Otherwise, they're just selling land to people, and you might build a beautiful double story and then next door builds a crappy little bungalow or a shed, and that's going to drop the value of the land you've purchased. So in order for a developer to sell their land at premium, what they do is they do it through a legal term called a covenant, or it's a set of rules and restrictions that have been implemented by the developer so that everybody builds their home at a standard that keeps the whole estate as a nice looking estate. So a lot of people think of it as a negative because it's the developers enforcing that homes have to look the same way. That's not true. Like, you can have your home look whatever kind of way you want. It just must be aesthetically pleasing so it keeps the whole neighborhood looking good. So a lot of covenants require certain landscaping to the front, the facade to look a certain way. Now you might say, I don't care how my house looks, I just want to build a house. Cool, guys, but you're buying into an estate that they're either selling the land at a premium or it's a premium estate, and they want everybody to build really nice homes so that when you walk down the street, it just feels like a nice neighborhood. So the covenant gets such a bad rap because a lot of people feel like it's power tripping of a developer, but no, it's the developer ensuring that you're going to have a nice estate even after they leave. So we need to change our tone of understanding covenants as rules and restrictions to actually supporting the community and making the community better. Because the better the community is, at the end of the day, it's either going to attract nicer clients, it's going to attract higher valuations, which to everybody buying in there is positive. Like, you're going to get better neighbors, you might get, the area is going to be more affluent, it's going to attract people to that area that might have not looked at that area before, that brings money, it brings resources, it brings all sorts of stuff to the community. And they do that through covenants. Now, as I said, covenants are a set of rules and restrictions placed on the person who buys the block of land. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video, but every day people are reaching out asking, Jason, how can we do sales training with you? So if you're in new home construction, if you've just started, if you're a seasoned pro, even if you're the #1 sales consultant at your company, every single one of us need a coach to get to that next level. So if that sounds like someone like you, click on the link in the description right now. It's going to ask for your name, your number, and a simple opt-in message to say I can give you a call. But if you want to skip past that entirely, simply text the number on the screen right now, 0427 915 668. Just text me a question, guys, and I'll jump on a call and have a chat with you right now. But guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. Let's get back to it. The important thing to understand with a covenant is that when the client went in to buy the land and they signed their contracts off for everything, they signed saying that they would follow the rules and regulations of the covenant that's been outlined in the covenant. Now, it's very important to remember that the client, either unknowingly or knowingly, it's not your responsibility as the builder, but knowingly or unknowingly have signed a document to say they're going to follow these rules. So they should be following those rules. Now, if that means that the home has to be a little bit more expensive because they need some facade materials, because they've already agreed to that. So the way I would always discuss with clients, guys, is, guys, you bought your land for, say, $300,000, but really your land is worth $320 because there's $20,000 worth of upgrades or changes we need to do to the home to make sure it's compliant with the estate you bought into. Now, you might know that, you might not have known that. It doesn't matter. It's just, it is what it is now. So let's make sure that we meet and we cover off those items. Now, one of the things I'm going to tell you right now, guys, is it doesn't matter where else you go to. All of these other builders, they're not going to bother taking you through it. Why? Because they don't care. Like, at this builder, XYZ builder that I'm working for right now, I make sure that I take the care to take you guys through this. Like, you're not going to go anywhere and get better service or better understanding of your land than you will here. So it's important that we go through the covenant together, and I'm going to show you how we're meeting all of those guidelines. Is that okay? Is that fair? They're obviously going to say that's fair, and then they're going to notice that you're planting the seed in their head that when they go somewhere else, if they do, that person wasn't talking about that, and therefore they're either rushing, and you kind of give them that feeling that, look, they should be talking about that, and if they're not, then they're really not taking their job that seriously. So you, instead of like cursing covenants, you should really praise them and be really happy they're there, because it shows a level of true understanding of an estate, and it shows a true level of expertise in your field by explaining this to the customer. Now, the second thing, because a lot of customers are going to be like, I don't care. The developers don't own that land. I do. How do you overcome that? Or like, what do we do in that sign or that situation? Guys, it's quite simple. Hey guys, look, at the end of the day, I get it. Like, you might not want to follow these covenants, but you did sign something to say you were going to. Now, as builders, because this developer develops land and we want to continue building in these lands, we have to follow those regulations. If we don't, the land agent will then block us from building in their estates, and then we won't be able to build any more homes. So as annoying as it is for you guys, and again, you use annoyance then because they're annoyed, as annoying it is for you guys, we're just as annoyed because we have to follow those rules as well. But what is it going to do to a whole estate? What's it going to do to you and all your neighbors? It's going to lift the value of your estate. It's going to lift the value. Everyone's going to feel nicer. It's going to feel like a nicer walk down the street. Well, Jason, I don't care about that. I don't care about other people. I just want my house to be as cheap as possible. All right, guys, I understand that, but these are the rules we have to follow. And you can go somewhere else if you want, and you're just going to walk in. Someone might help you, but they're then going to get ridiculed, or you're just going to get pricing later. Like, you're going to get a price increase later because it's going to be declined, and you're going to have to add these things on. Look, at the end of the day, the way I sell is I sell in integrity, and I make sure that everybody gets the best service and they understand what they're in for before they deposit. Why? Because it's easy for me to take your money now and then suddenly your price goes up 50 grand. Everyone complains about it in construction. It doesn't happen. Like, I don't have that happen because I make sure I go through, and you guys are going to be educated as well as understand what's involved with your block of land. And when you explain it to a client like this, like, it doesn't matter how aggressive or how like angry they are. Like, it just makes sense. Like, they're like, we can't argue with that because we want to make sure we're getting the best service. And you always ask, would you agree, or would that be fair, or do you want me to act a different way? Do you want me to sell to a different way? And I'll obviously say no. So understand covenants are a great piece of information. They're a great tool for you to be able to use because it lifts the value of everyone up. Now, how to read a covenant. Normally, the covenant is going to be broken down into chapters, and you might look at one and go, holy crap, there's so much information. What do I do? Where do I start? Obviously, you start at the top and go down, but most of the time, the covenant for you guys as builders is going to be more so focused on the facade and the landscaping. So if you're a builder that does landscaping, cool, you'll have some landscaping requirements to look into. But most common like estates, because they don't want to overshoot how many rules they have, because that will cause people not to buy. They also don't want the estate to look bad. They're going to make it generally just some facade. You have to add a couple of materials, maybe render and cladding, or render in a nice brick, feature brick. You're going to have a couple of tones. You might have to have a big wooden door. You'll have to have like a panel shut garage door or a sectional garage door, something like that. You're going to be able to quickly see it. It's usually going to be in what's called external alterations or external modifications or external viewings, whatever. You'll see it. It's usually quite heavy towards the top of the covenant. As we go through the covenant, there might be things to do with siding and boundary, like how far we have to be away from boundaries, how close we can go to the sides, to the front, to the rear. So you'll have to follow the siding rules. As we continue down, you'll then notice that a lot of it delves into like what happens with trash, who has to remove trash, can you sell the land? It'll deal with things like solar panels, water tanks, clotheslines, making sure they're not visible. Then eventually towards the bottom, it'll mostly talk about hard landscaping, fencing, and then obviously landscaping itself. And those are the things to take into consideration if you're selling. But for most covenants, it's just how the house appears from the street. Most of the covenants requirement is just making sure it aesthetically looks nice from the street. And it might have a certain size requirement. You have to build a home a certain size or a certain double story, single story. Other than that, covenants really are not much else. Like, the rest of the decisions then fall back onto the client of what they want. So whenever I would be talking to clients about covenants, I would always start by saying these are a great item because they lift the value of the estate and everyone gets a nicer home. If they got angry, I would then flip and say, hey guys, obviously, like, it's great that they're there, but it is annoying for you and us because we have to follow those rules as well. But it is what it is. When you guys bought the land, knowingly or unknowingly you've signed it, if you have an issue, have a chat to the developer. And obviously the developer's going to get those covenants and go, yeah, oh guys, your builder deals with that. You just go and chat to your builder about it. Like, they don't really want to talk about it. They've already sold the block of land. So when that client comes back or when you're having a chat to that client, just reassure them that they are great things. They keep the estate looking nice and they keep everybody feeling like they have a nice area. It is annoying because there are rules and restrictions. They're tools to improve the value of the block of land you've purchased. So guys, that's what covenants are. Again, when you're early on into the new home sales industry, it's going to be something that you come up against and you'll be like, why does every estate have a different one? Why do I have to check all these things? Understand that it really is your job to check them because you are building their home. And when you're building their home, you want to make sure that you're following the rules and the regulations to give them the best home they can. So guys, that's covenants. As always, if you need more information on covenants, send me a text. Shoot me a text. It's on the screen now, 0427 915 668. Give me a text. I'll give you a call. As always, give us a like, comment your toughest objection. I'll do a separate video on that. Guys, have a great day and we'll see you on the next video.